Hey everyone, it's Megan Mintz here, and today we're going to talk about how to plan your content, your revenue goals, and your product launch timeline. And all of this is going to be with a set of spreadsheets that I've created. Now I'm going to walk you through them so you can totally recreate them on your own if you want, but I will also be offering these available for download. So stay tuned for more information on that if you want to just hit the ground running. So basically the story behind this is that it's almost the end of March of 2016, and I was realizing that I haven't achieved what I wanted to do this quarter and this year so far. I've let things kind of slip through the cracks, and all of these tentative launch timelines I had they weren't happening. The blog posts I wanted to write weren't happening. The revenue I was hoping to bring in early wasn't happening. And it was time that I just took everything out of my brain and put it on paper and actually mapped out what the year could look like. And so that's exactly what I did. I started with an annual plan. What revenue do I want to make each quarter this year? And I'm going to walk you through this in the spreadsheet, but we take your exact products, how much you sell them for, and how many you want to sell each quarter. And it really allows you to play with launch deadlines. If you launch something in Q3 versus Q2, what difference does that make in your business? And then once we have that, we take it to the quarterly breakdown. Same kind of perspective. We're looking at products, price, quantity sold, and then what month we want to make what sales. So again, we're just getting a fine-tuned look at when you launch and what that looks like, or maybe you can even test different price changes. If you bump up something to a higher price in August, what does that change for your business versus leaving it the same? So I think there's a ton of power behind going through it this way. But that's just part one. That's really all revenue planning. And that's also kind of launch planning, seeing when you launch and what products you might have launching at different times and what that means for the revenue for your business. The next step is we look at just a quarter, and we kind of set more of the how or the goals. So you look at Q2 and you have those financial goals, but if you're going to achieve them, how are you actually going to get things done by a certain time? And you can set additional goals, like how many people you want to be on your email list, or how many blog posts you want to write, or even just planning out, product specific goals. If you're launching something in Q2, what does that mean you have to have done in April, May, and June in order to get that launch date where you want it? So once you've looked at the quarter and all of those goals, we break that down into that month. So you see here are my quarterly goals, then here are my monthly goals, to achieve those. And then we look at a weekly breakdown of the entire quarter. And I don't want that to sound overwhelming. I think once you see the spreadsheet, it's going to make a lot of sense. But basically, the weekly spreadsheet is like actually how you're going to get it done. And I think what's great about it is I think you're going to learn a lot when you do it. Let's say you think you're going to launch something, the end of April, and you start mapping out the weekly to-dos in order to achieve that. You might realize, okay, I'm going to have to say no to social events or maybe lose a little bit of sleep in order to do that. And it allows you the chance to decide if that's worth it. If it is, great. If it's not, then you can have that opportunity to push back your launch and, reconfigure your weekly to-dos around that. So I think it's just so powerful. And beyond that, it gives you an action plan for every single week. You can start a fresh week and instantly know these are my priorities for this week, and I'm going to do it, exactly in this way. So I'm super excited about it. I have loved using it. It makes me feel so empowered in my business, and I think it's going to make you feel empowered too. So let's actually turn over and look at the spreadsheets, and I'm going to walk you through a demo that I put together. These are not my actual, products, prices, or sales numbers. Didn't really want to go that specific and reveal any secret projects I'm working on this year. So these are just demos and examples, but I want to show them to you anyways. So this is the annual planner. This is exactly what I walked us through verbally. So what we do is you input your product number, or you'd actually say the product name. So whatever it is, you could type it in here. And then you would input the price. So for here, I've said it's a $47 price. And let's say in Q2, I want to sell 120. And then it's an evergreen product. So in this demo, products 1, 2, and 3 are evergreen products. And product 4 is something I'm launching in Q3 in this demo. And you can see like, wow, just launching it, that one thing brings in the most revenue. And it just allows you to see, oh, this lower price product, maybe it's not worth it anymore. Maybe it is. And then I can even see each quarter what I'm expecting to bring in because of it. Now, these are goals. So this is completely something you're going to want to play with. And once you start going into the quarterly breakdown too, you might realize you need to change the total quarterly goal. I felt like that happened to me. I realized, well, I probably won't sell this many this month, and kind of tweak it to that point. So let's just focus on Q2. You know, we're about to start Q2 here in April, and that's kind of what the demos are based on. So in Q2, we have, you know, these 4 products, and the 4th one won't be launched yet. So we don't really need to worry about it yet on the revenue side. We just need to focus on our first 3 products. So if I want to sell 60 of product 3 in the entire quarter and they're evergreen, I'm probably going to want to sell around 20 a month. Product 2 around 30, and product 1 around 40. And so that just kind of lets me see my general, you know, sales projections. Now these numbers may be way more or way less for you. Again, this is purely demonstration purposes. So this is where I've broken it down each month. Now I do want to show you in Q3 where I have this tentative launch going on. You can see what a big difference that makes in August. So as I'm planning out my revenue for the year and I have this August deadline, I can say, wow, like look at what I can bring in August. Maybe there's a big purchase I can make that I've been wanting to for my business or even your personal life. You know, it's just going to let you see where the money should be at what point in the year. And I think everyone wants to know that in their business and have some good projections. So basically this is just every month. This is, you know, the goal profit for each product and then the total amount for that month. And we just have totals going on over here too. So their total amount for that product each quarter and the total amount you want to make that quarter. So those numbers should match up here. So yay for Excel spreadsheets with math in them already. But I know this for me, this spreadsheet was really motivational because when I mapped out some new projects I'm working on, when I want to launch them, and even some pretty low estimates for sales, I was excited. You know, just all this this income could happen for me if I can just make it happen on the back end. So I hope that this is something that you enjoy playing with. I know it's very powerful, but as far as revenue planning, this is kind of the ultimate annual snapshot of your annual and kind of when you want to launch on a higher level monthly basis. Now the next demo I'm going to show you is Q2. So I do actually have in these spreadsheets that I'm releasing, there's one of these for Q2, Q3, and Q4. And we're just doing the demo for Q2 so you can see what that might look like as an example, because I think that kind of helps your brain start churning. So the spreadsheet automatically pulls my income goals from the annual spreadsheet. So that's really nice. So you can just see them there instantly. And what you do is you go ahead and set your overall quarterly goals first. So I have my income goal, and let's say I want to hit 5,000 email subscribers. I want to publish a blog post every week. So that's about 13 blog posts. And I have some sales goals, some different projects I'm working on in the business. My new product, I need to go ahead and start creating it if I'm going to sell it. And, you know, in this demo, I want to hire a VA. I want to do some webinars, a giveaway, and even Periscope once a week. So although some of that's recurring, it's also just a nice way to be strategic because all of those things do take your time. And then we've broken it down April. So if I want to have 5,000 subscribers by the end of June, you know, let's try to hit 3,000 in April, 4,000 in May, and then 5,000 by the end of June. I've got blog post goals, more narrowed down sales goals, and then, you know, certain projects I have going on, exactly this is what I want to achieve in April. And then you'll see that better in the product 4, where, you know, I want to make half of the course in April, the other half in May, and start working on marketing and the sales page in June. And then the VA goals are broken out further as well. You know, maybe I want to go ahead and hire a VA by the end of April, and then May can be about training, assessing the relationship and how it's going, auditing my website, kind of doing some general systems checkups that I need to be doing. And then, you know, I've set 1 webinar in April, 2 in May, and 1 in June. So it's just a really great thing to have already planned out. Otherwise, I would probably just never end up doing it until maybe one at the end of June, because I wasn't intentional about where am I going to do those 4 webinars in this quarter. So again, this is beyond just goals. This isn't like, oh, I want to do this like vague thing. This is really the how you're going to do it. So my email list goal of hitting 5,000 people, that's why I'm doing webinars and a giveaway and periscoping and blogging every day. It all is tying back to each other. So you shouldn't set, I want to have 3,000 more email subscribers without setting goals to actually build you, action steps to get you there. If you put that goal there and you do absolutely nothing beyond what you're already doing, unless you've set a low goal, you're probably not going to achieve it. So it's super important to be actionable. I put 5,000 subscribers here and instantly it's like, okay, what am I going to do to get there? So similar with product 4, if it was, I'm going to launch it by the end of June, then when I'm going through the month, it's like, okay, crap, what all do I need to get done by each point if it's going live in June? So again, this is something that should be really enlightening. It should make you realize a few things about your plan and what you're doing. And it should help you actually take everything you want to do and make it very realistic and give you a timetable for when you can achieve it. And now this next spreadsheet, before I go there, it can seem a little overwhelming because it's a weekly perspective. So don't drop off here. Basically what this is, at the core of it, it's every week in Q2. Now I did include March because this is coming out mid-March and I wanted to start using it in mid-March, and I figured I didn't want to wait until April to get this out there in case anyone wanted to start using it now. So I included March, even though it's technically not part of Q2. So what we have here is the week of, and I think these are just the Mondays of every week, and we have different categories. So you're going to see these are all the same from our last page. We have product 1, 2, 3, 4, operations, and marketing. And then blog posts has actually been separated into 2 columns. And that is because there are recurring blog post tasks, but I also want to be strategic with my content. Part of what we're talking about is content planning. And if you're blogging once a week, your content needs to be geared towards ultimately your products. Yes, it can be great free content, testing your market, whatever you want to share. But if you are trying to be strategic with your content, you need to actually see where your content lines up to your launches, because most people feel, and experts in the industry, advise, if you're launching something in June, then at least, the month leading up to that, you would probably want to talk about things related to that product. You'd want to build an audience for it, make sure there's interest, test your market, see what has traction. And if you're not mapping it out like that and you're not aligning your product launches with your content, that might not sync up, or it might kind of all fall by the wayside or kind of feel chaotic. So this allows us to be really strategic. So I actually fill out this column absolutely last. The blog post topic column happens last because I want to know the exact week I'm launching certain products before I figure out when I'm going to talk about what topic. Now, in this Q2 demo, everything is evergreen and we are just working on creating product 4. So what I've done is I've just built out a rotation. We talk about product 1, something related to it. We're not talking about, the actual product, but a related topic, building interest about what we sell. Product 1, the next week product 2, the next week product 3, and the next week product 4. Because even though I haven't, hit the month up to that launch, I want to start building interest. I want to test if my audience is interested in it. So you definitely want to, even if you're in a month like this where maybe you're not launching right now, you can still start testing, things you're working on and seeing how that goes. So you want to do that last. But I wanted to explain what these are separately, because this task column is like adding that week's new post to the actual social media scheduler I use. And then I batch write some blog posts. You'll see, every 2 or 3 weeks, I'm trying to write 3 blog posts at one time, so I don't have to do it every week. So going through product 1, 2, and 3, it's okay. They're evergreen. The whole point is for them to be a little bit more passive. So I don't have stuff to do for it every single week, and that's great. You'll probably have customer service, emails But in general, they're pretty low maintenance, which is awesome. But there are a few things I want to do. I want to get some new testimonials, so I've mapped out when that's going to happen. I've mapped out when I'm going to try to get testimonials for a case study blog post. And then every quarter I set, a certain week where I'm going to review the funnel in place for that product and see how it's going, maybe test some things and give it a shot. And so this is great because if you didn't have this on your calendar for each quarter, you kind of might forget, it could just fall by the wayside and you wouldn't be optimizing your funnels like you could be. So that's just like, what an evergreen oriented business might look like. And then product 4, remember, we're trying to launch that in Q2. And so I've dripped out, all of my tasks to get to that point pretty gradually, but it's still a lot of work. If I didn't map it out like this, I might hit the end of June and freak out because I haven't done any of it. So we just mapped out outlining the course this week, record 3 modules. That's kind of a big thing. Like that's a huge chunk of time. And we're just breaking down, recording the modules, creating worksheets, writing the sales emails, creating a sequence to check in on students that goes out, reviewing what you've created, making tweaks, working on the sales page, your settings on your course platform. If you have live Q&As in the course, like actually scheduling when those are going to happen. So these are just things that by mapping it out like this, imagine how much less stressed you're going to be. And you're going to see where you are. Are you on pace? If you only get 1 module done this week, is it realistic that you're going to be able to do 3 every single week? You're kind of behind. So either you need to hustle a lot more the next week, or you might need to push that part back a little bit. So it just helps you kind of see what's actually happening, where your time's actually going, and if you're going to be able to make your deadlines. And then operations, we want to hire a VA. So all of this is VA oriented, but broken down. I want to have interviews the end of March. So that's just a great deadline that otherwise I might not hire a VA, even though I need one desperately. And then marketing, same thing, periscoping once a week, adding other people's content to my social media scheduler. And then, this is the week I'm going to do a webinar. And then I wanted to do 2 in May. So I'm going to do one the first week of May and the next to last week of May. And then I'm going to do it the second week of June. So you already know when you're doing those things. And I'm doing a giveaway in April. So it's just a great way to see the recurring tasks plus all of the tasks you need to be doing to actually execute your launch and to have a launch timeline and how to have your content relate to all of it. So it's just a great way to see it all at one place. You're not like dragging around a Gmail calendar, turning on and off calendars, because that just drives me mad. And it's just a very easy way to see what's important to you. Maybe you have one product, so you can kind of get rid of all these other columns and just focus on that. Maybe you're a service-oriented business, and I think you could totally use this. You would just change product to your service. How many clients do you want to have each month? What does that look like as far as your time actually goes? And so, I don't know, when I built this out and actually dropped in my own business goals in here, I just felt like awesome about it. So I'm just really excited to release this to everyone. Again, feel free to recreate this format as it works for your business. I am also offering these as a done for you template that is available for $9. And it includes these demo tabs as well as the entire rest of the year. And it's only $9, and it took me several hours to pull this together. But if you want to recreate them yourself, that's completely fine. This is just a nice, easy, download it and start planning your business, plan the rest of the year, and get your shit done. So I hope you found this helpful. I think I'm not the only one who's in this point, who's having a hard time getting it from your head to paper. And I can just tell you that breaking it down like this, seeing your content with your revenue goals and your launch timeline and how it's all going to fit together, and if you can do it realistically, like being able to map that out so clearly is just such a great feeling. So I hope you find this helpful. I'd love to know if you have any questions, tips for how you like to plan your goals or your annual goals, your launch timelines, or anything like that. So definitely leave a comment below and let me know. And other than that, I can't wait to see what you guys do for the rest of 2016.